I'm Terry Kolath. I'm here today with our resident astronomer, Doug Heatherly of Royal Bonnet, and we're giving you a May Sky Talk. There's a lot going on in May.
Always a lot going on in the sky.
Thanks for joining me, Doug. This
yes.
is so interesting to learn more about what we're seeing. A couple things I want to ask you about. First off, I've just been looking for meteors. Tell us a little bit about meteors.
Well, we just had a meteor shower. And actually, there's probably at least 100 meteor showers a year.
Really?
Yeah. So that means most of the time we've probably got small showers that are there. There's obviously the more famous ones, the Perseids and this kind of thing that come in the fall. But we just had one, and in fact, we still have remnants of the shower even today, because it's sort of like it peaked in the 4th or the 5th of May, but it straddles that some. And really what's happening on a meteor shower is the Earth is in its orbit around the sun, goes through the remnants of either a comet debris field or an asteroid debris field. And you have both. It turns out most of the meteor showers are probably asteroid debris fields. And so when you go through that debris field, of course you get more meteors, and we see them in a dark sky is far better, because this, for the most part, is just small pieces of sand-like material. Okay. And they travel at a very high rate of speed, maybe 40, 50 miles per second. Okay. And that's the reason what you're seeing is them burning up in the upper atmosphere. Okay. So when we look, we'll see these streaks across the sky. And a meteor shower is kind of defined by the fact that it's all coming from a similar or same type of direction out of the sky. So if we're looking at maybe the southern sky or something, and all the meteors will seem to originate in the same area. Okay, so that becomes, they kind of designate those as showers.
Okay, this is so interesting. So it depends on where they're coming from, where you're going to see them, but on any night it's possible to see one anywhere.
Oh yes, on any night. And the key probably is to have a darker sky, so no moon.
Waxing, waning at the most.
Yeah, basically if it's a dark sky. And the reason being, these are typically small pieces of sand or rock, high in the atmosphere, and they're very quick, and they're not really that bright, okay? But in a meteor shower, it's possible to see, 40 or 50 of them an hour.
It's fabulous.
And in some of the big named ones, which we read about maybe on the headlines of newspapers, you might see 100 an hour. So a really dark sky is helpful.
Do any of them hit Earth?
Oh yes, oh yes. We've had lots of them that hit the Earth, and it's quite a hobby for astronomers to go out and try to find pieces that might hit the Earth. They actually have better luck, believe it or not, in the Arctic or the Antarctic. Okay. Because you can find the dark-colored rocks on the white snow and ice. Okay. So it's. It
doesn't mean there's more there.
No, it doesn't mean there's more there. It's just easier to find them.
So if we're looking and we see it's coming closer and closer, move.
Basically, what happens is the ones that reach the Earth, which are few, okay, they're going to be more in the news. We'll know where they're at. Basically, NASA and the rest of them track all this stuff coming in on radar. There's estimated probably 10 to 12,000 meteors striking the Earth every day.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, but obviously they're mostly just sand. Okay, but over time it can mount up to quite a bit of material, and so that's essentially what's happening. But yeah, there's quite an active market in meteors, and they're different compositions. Yeah.
It seems that I've seen them in natural history museums.
Right.
When I think about it, right.
Usually the ones in the museums are big iron pieces of iron, okay? Those are they're a special class. Most of the meteors that we're seeing going across the sky are more sandy, lightweight type stuff. Okay. And so they'll never even come close to hitting ground.
Now tell us what else we can look for in May. I know last time you taught us about the ecliptic.
Oh, sure.
And we look up, sun, moon, sunrise, moonrise, and look up.
Right.
What's happening in May?
Okay, well, later in the month, or maybe in the 23rd, 24th of this month, find the moon, and you'll see the planets Jupiter and Saturn in very close proximity, and both of them can be seen with a naked eye. If you have access to either binoculars or even a small telescope, perhaps, you could see the stripes around Jupiter.
Really?
And you could probably see the rings around Saturn. And the rings around Saturn is kind of what hooked me.
I guess. So
some
this
time
is
ago.
close to the moon at a certain time?
It'll be in the evening, and so you'll see two brighter objects kind of in line with the moon. And if you have a telescope, obviously you can find them easily, but they're very visible with naked eye.
You can just imagine in the history of mankind what it was like to see these things happening and to not understand what you're looking at.
Right.
When did we first start to understand about meteors and?
That's a good question. I would say most of our real knowledge about what's going on in space has happened in the last 200 or 300 years. Even in the last 100 years, because we didn't really have either theories or access to instruments that could really make any kind of detailed measurements. And so we didn't understand enough about the universe we lived in. It was probably less than 100 years ago, we didn't realize that there was anything larger than the Milky Way galaxy. We didn't know that the universe is full of literally millions of other galaxies, just like the Milky Way.
And now the instrumentation, the
instruments and the telescopes.
Takes us right up to another fascinating thing.
It does, and I would say it's sort of like an exponential curve, because once we launched Hubble telescope, almost 30 years ago, I think.
It's amazing.
The understanding of our position and where we're at in the universe is really taken off. So we've got a much better grasp of what's going on.
To the point where we've actually seen a black hole.
That's right.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And Doug Heatherly is going to be giving a class in the Academy of Lifelong Learning on black holes coming up soon. And you'll hear an awful lot more. So mark your calendars, not only for the next Academy class from Doug Heatherly on black holes, but mark your calendar for these events coming up towards the end of the month where you can see the two planets.